We're already setting the stage for our monthly PvP tomorrow. You know what I'm interested in? Is how much Love and Deepspace made this last month. My Sensor Tower predictions: 1, Love and Deepspace; 2, Love and Deepspace; 3, Love and Deepspace; 4, Love and Deepspace; 5, Love and Deepspace. Subscribe! I would like a formal, MLA formatted, detailed apology from any individual who has ever doubted me on Love and Deepspace. 500 words minimum, 1,000 if you'd actually like the apology to be accepted. Because I got shit for talking about Love and Deepspace, how it's gonna blow up, how it's gonna continue to blow up, and how it is reaching a market that has not previously been reached by gacha games, with lady gooners in a format that is actually accessible to women of all types of shapes and forms and all kinds of backgrounds. I would like a formal written apology on this, because the only reason, if you don't know this, the only reason AFK Journey is on top is because they newly released in a bunch of Eastern servers, and all of the servers that spend the most money on gacha games on the globe. That is the only reason AFK Journey is on here. If they didn't have that new release little sheen to it, that new release buff, Love and Deepspace would be topping the charts at 8 million more than the next one down. And that is the power of actually appealing to new audiences and not recycling the same players over and over and over again. Love and Deepspace is a game that has successfully reached into markets previously untouched by other gachas. And I have been talking about this shit for months, and nobody ever wanted to hear me out on this. Well, why would a gacha game need to reach out to new audiences? Why does it matter? Why does it matter if they're trying to make games for different groups of people, bringing new people into the genre? This is why that shit matters. There has not been a game that successfully captured the market of women who are horny and maybe a little bit lonely. And that is why you will probably continue to see them making shocking amounts of money in the future if they continue what they've been doing. Because wouldn't you know that months after release, this is not a newly released game. This game has been in the top like 5 for months. You guys get that, right? Love and Deepspace, 2nd this month, 2nd last month. It was 4th the month before. 4th the month before that. 3rd in, what month is this? In April. 3rd in March. 3rd in February. And then this was the month it released where it was in 5th. Or it was in 4th again. Love and Deepspace has not made less than 30 million since it released in January. It has not been out of the top 5. It has not even been 5th. It's been top 4 since it released in January. And it will continue rising because it captures a market that is not the same shit that every other gacha game captures. It's not just a gooner game though, it's a romance game. The reason it sells well is because they do it well. It's not lazy. I believe Fate Go had an anniversary event. Is that correct? So Fate Grand Order is a long-standing game, has an anniversary and launched a new character. They're gonna have big sales. This is not surprising to me, though 42 million? Let's be real, for as old as Fate Go goes, for a dead game, this is a joke. I've been corrected on this by my YouTube comments. But for a dead game, you know, that nobody cares about, Fate Go, this is nothing to sneeze at. 42 million? That's actually legitimately impressive. We should all be impressed. Genshin Impact, this is our first Hoyo game on this list. At 40 million, 10 million less than Love and Deepspace, who has a much more niche audience, with the Natlin update. We got Honkai Star Rail just beneath that, barely making like 1 million less. Zenless Zone Zero making 8 million less than that. And then Wuwa all the way down here, but Wuwa's not been making money, I don't think, ever. And honestly, I don't really care about this like tribalism of who's better or worse, right? I don't care. But let's be so entirely for real. This is the importance of bringing in new audiences and not just making more games for the same audience. And the fact that anyone is surprised by its success demonstrates how little they pay attention. The reality is that Hoyoverse, I don't think that Hoyoverse has successfully captured new markets, and I didn't think that they were going to. I cannot prove this. This is my like hypothesis. Gacha Smack got in trouble for saying that last time. The problem with gacha is that it's mostly the same people who continuously play the games. Gacha players like gacha games, they play gacha games, and that's fine. The thing is is if it's only one pie, right? If we think of the player base as one single pie, all you're doing, if you're making more games for the same people, is cutting the pie into smaller and smaller pieces. Yeah, it's more pieces, but it's not more pie. People have been ignoring the fact that this random-ass Otome gacha game has been in the top 5, top 4 since release, and not seeing why that matters. I have been talking about the problem of gacha games not bringing in new players, not bringing in new demographics since like May or June, and people have been incredibly disrespectful of that fact. But the reality is that it is important to capture new markets. We can be for real that Love and Deepspace's the entire amount of money that they make is fully represented here if this is accurate, right? Whereas Hoyo Games Wuthering Waves additionally have PC clients, and so you cannot 100% know how much money is ever made by any of these companies unless they are mobile only. I think that's fair to say. However, 50 million on an incredibly niche game like Love and Deepspace, because the reality is Love and Deepspace is probably the most niche game on this list. Love and Deepspace does not appeal to anyone outside of an incredibly specific demographic. It appeals to women and maybe gay men, and people who want to get romantical and a little bit sensual. As the most niche game on this list, it is topping the charts while other games are having huge releases, just demolishing the competition because it is capturing new markets that have new money. When we are capturing the same markets with the same money, you're not going to continue to make more money. Do I care if gacha games do this successfully? Not particularly. I think gacha games should do whatever they want. Do I think that this is going to change the industry necessarily? Nah, because I think people are too fucking stubborn and they want their gacha games to be the same as they've always been. They don't want them to change. However, I would like to sit here and say that I have always been right on this topic, and people have always been incredibly rude and dismissive of me saying that new markets are important and that if we don't start capturing them, then it's a problem. But this game has something special that I think everyone should be paying attention to, and I think this is not like a hype thing, right? Because you can see that they have always been at the top of the charts since release. This is not a fluke, this is not an accident, and it's good for all of us to know this. This is not jokes, this is not memes, and this is not the kind of gacha game that y'all are gonna like, but they make money. They are consistent and are consistently also growing because they are capturing players that are not already pissing out money on other games. These are not all players that play gacha games. These are players that play a bunch of shit, and it is not for everybody, but that is impressive as f. And I just want to say, ha 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 ha, I fucking told y'all so. There were motherfuckers on Twitter guessing the rankings and saying like, oh my god, HSR is gonna be on top, then Genshin, then Zenless Zone Zero, then Wuthering Waves. Nah. I woke up yesterday to a tweet saying, how the f did HexJuice guess that top 5 was gonna be all Love and Deepspace, and somehow she was more right than all these people trying to do market research. And also, I just want to say, I don't talk about revenue reports often because I think they're stupid. I think revenue reports are dumb, and everybody pretends to know all this shit about the market and about the player base and all the numbers. They think that they know anything about this stuff. Nobody does, and I don't really know either. Okay, this was a game theory I had based off of like common sense, and the reality is these aren't even that accurate. These are only mobile, like Android cells, I think. So the reality is we have no idea how much these games make because you cannot accurately get a full count of it, because if it's on PC, it's just straight up not counted. And some of these games are heavily played on PC. AFK Journey made that much only because they released in Japan and China. They released Eastern servers for the first time. They were not previously in those markets, so that's why they made so much money. And it's a mobile game. That's like kind of what I wanted to say. These are estimated mobile sales. I don't think that these reports generally mean very much. However, I think that this is interesting enough to talk about, which is why I bring it up. I don't like revenue reports. I don't like the monthly gacha PvP on revenue. Ho, 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 ho. I don't care. And I also don't think these numbers mean anything. And I also don't think that anybody in gacha is necessarily qualified to interpret these numbers fully. I could be completely wrong, and I don't really care. This is just my opinion. But I don't like these numbers, but I think this is a standout moment. You know, this is a standout statistic that I want to talk about because this is so fucking cool. So that's kind of it. I told y'all so. Love and Deepspace clears. Reaching out to different markets and not spreading around the same markets with more games is a good thing to know. And I'd love to see how this continues to shake out as the games continue to progress as time goes on, because this is only so many months, and I'd love to see some more months. So that is all I have to say. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I love telling you I told you so, ha for a couple minutes. Have a good day. Take care of yourselves. Wash your butt. Wash your butt and your butt cheeks and everywhere. Wash your whole body with a washcloth, not your hands. I just found out that that's like a really big thing and I'm very disturbed by it. I will see y'all next time. Love yourselves. Drink water.